What does Matthew Perry say about her? What plot in Friends did she not like? And for which role did she get a golden raspberry? Jennifer Aniston. It's February 11th, 1969, and a future Hollywood star is born in the Sherman Oaks neighborhood of Los Angeles, California. Her parents are Greek actor John Aniston, formerly Yannis Anitios Anastasakis, and American actress and model Nancy Dow. Her godfather is one of her father's best friends, Telly Savalas, best known for his legendary role as the detective Kojak. As a child, Jennifer spends a year in Greece, then moves to Pennsylvania and eventually New York, where her father lands a role on the soap opera Days of Our Lives. When little Aniston is 9 years old, her parents get divorced, and she has no contact with her father for over a year. So Jenn is raised mainly by her mother, who she develops a very complicated relationship with, which lasts into her adulthood. In a recent interview, she revealed during this traumatic period her mother often harshly criticized her, telling her she was not good enough to ever be successful. The tension between them culminates when her mother writes a book about Jennifer titled From Mother and Daughter to Friends. To prove her mother wrong and show her she is capable of being famous without her support, Jennifer starts attending the Rudolph Steiner School in New York, a Waldorf school where she participates in her first theater productions. In addition to her acting talent, she also discovers she has a knack for painting. She's such a good painter, in fact, that one of her paintings gets selected and exhibited at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York, a feat that few painters ever achieve. After that accomplishment, Aniston devotes herself to art and subsequently attends the High School of Performing Arts. Her graduation in 1988 opens the door to the stage. In the following years, she performs in multiple off-Broadway plays like For Dear Life. She doesn't make enough money to earn a living acting in the theater, however, so Aniston also works side jobs as a waitress, a receptionist, and a bicycle messenger, which Jenn says is the worst job she's ever had. In 1990, her first television gig finally comes, the leading role in the series Malloy. She appears in 7 episodes, but the series never takes off. Shortly afterwards, she lands other, smaller roles in little-known series like Ferris Bueller, Muddling Through, and a comedy series called The Edge. Despite her efforts, none of the shows is successful. During this time, she starts dating Daniel McDonald, and their relationship lasts for the next 4 years. Jennifer starts thinking about ending her so far not very successful career. Fortunately, she gets talked out of it by the then CEO of NBC Television, who not only encourages her in her acting career, but also puts her in contact with a casting agent for an upcoming series named Friends. She originally tries out for the role of the neat freak chef, Monica Geller, but the part goes to her future colleague, Courtney Cox, and Jennifer is instead offered the role of Rachel Green. Friends gets a very lukewarm reception at first, and there's no immediate indication that working on the show would ever change her life. But of course, the opposite holds true, and after a few episodes, it's clear Aniston's portrayal of Rachel will be her breakthrough role. During the first season, the series gains popularity all over the world and maintains top viewership ratings for 10 straight years, during which an unbelievable 236 episodes air. During the first season, Jennifer sports a signature hairstyle that soon becomes very popular and even gets named the Rachel among hairstylists. Many years later, the actress divulges she actually really hated the do because she has to get up an hour early every day just because of her hair. In 1995, Jennifer gets engaged to actor Tate Donovan. A year later, however, they call off their engagement. While millions of Americans watch Friends weekly, Jennifer gets lots of offers for various other roles. She's finally living her dreams, but doesn't relax. She devotes her free time to making movies. In 1996, she stars in Dream for an Insomniac and She's the One, followed the next year by roles in Picture Perfect and the geeky Thin Pink Line. Soon afterwards, she appears in the films Office Space and The Good Girl. All of her roles are generally well-reviewed, and Aniston's popularity continues to rise. In 2000, with Friends at the height of its popularity, Jennifer marries Brad Pitt. The funny part is that in the show, Rachel Green is a big Brad Pitt fan herself. Pitt, like many big actors at the time, gets a small cameo in the show. He plays Ross Geller's high school friend who hates Rachel wholeheartedly. Jennifer and Brad soon become business partners as well as spouses. They found the production company Plan B, which produces the film Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. In 2003, Aniston wins the Golden Globe for Best Female Actress in a Comedy for Friends. The long-running series is slowly coming to an end. Jennifer has lived a lot of her life working on the show, and because her co-stars have become real friends, one storyline in the last season really doesn't sit with her. Jennifer doesn't want to act out a love affair with Matt LeBlanc, who plays Joey. Both she and LeBlanc think the on-screen affair is out of character, saying, "Joey wouldn't do that." At one point, Jennifer even persuades the screenwriters to cut the storyline, but they end up leaving it in, to her disappointment. In the 9th and 10th season of Friends, the actors already earn $1 million per episode, salaries which get Jennifer, Courtney Cox, and Lisa Kudrow the Guinness World Record for Best Paid TV Actresses. It's interesting to note that since 1994, when Friends begins production, all 6 main actors agree to always ask for money together. The actors keep up this deal until 2004, when the series ends after the 18th episode of their 10th season, watched by a record audience of 52 million. All 6 co-stars remain real-life friends, often talking about each other in interviews and visiting together. And as it sometimes happens among celebrities, from time to time they reveal unknown facts about each other. Matthew Perry says Jennifer is the worst driver he's ever known. He even advises people to stay home on days Aniston gets behind the wheel. Unlike her acting colleagues from Friends, however, Jennifer is lucky to get one film role after another once the series finally wraps up. One of her more successful films following Friends is Bruce Almighty, where she stars along with Jim Carrey. In 2005, Jennifer's career is still on the rise, but her personal life suffers a series of shocks. The actress discovers that her husband, Brad Pitt, is cheating on her with his Mr. and Mrs. Smith co-star, Angelina Jolie. Divorce follows. The whole case becomes all the more unpleasant when Jennifer is hounded very intensely by the press. A year later, however, things are much more cheerful when Aniston gets a role in the comedy Marley and Me, which becomes a global blockbuster. In 2009, she continues in the romantic drama He's Just Not That Into You, co-starring Scarlett Johansson, Ben Affleck, Bradley Cooper, and Drew Barrymore. A year later, the film The Bounty Hunter comes to theaters. In 2011, she and Adam Sandler are casted in the main roles in the film Just Go With It, which receives good reviews from audiences despite collecting a record number of Razzies, including one Jennifer can't avoid for Worst Actor. The same year, she meets actor Justin Theroux while filming a project, and in 2015, she marries him. But even this marriage doesn't have a happy ending, as both actors divorce 3 years later. Over the next few years, her next big hit is Meet the Millers, which earns $270 million worldwide, making it one of the most successful comedies ever. Hollywood no longer just sees Jennifer as a TV actress, but an A-list celebrity, complete with her own star on the Hollywood Boulevard Walk of Fame. In addition, many have considered her the ideal of beauty for more than 20 years. People magazine even declares her the most beautiful woman in the world in 2004 and 2016. In October 2019, she drew attention to herself a bit differently. Instagram goes down for several hours just because of her. She sets up an account, and the first post she shares is a selfie of herself and her 5 Friends co-stars, which attracts a massive number of people to her profile. It only confirms that her most important work will forever remain the show which changed the lives of a whole generation, and for most of us, she will always be Rachel Green. Jennifer's dedication and success shows she's always had what it takes to be a star. Thanks for watching to the end. If you like our videos, please subscribe to help us create more content.